Hi everybody, it's Devin. I'm here to talk about Ardour 3, the digital audio program that I use for making like half the songs that I work on. Basically, it's kind of a hard disk recording setup. That's what I'd use it for classically. It would be like to record tracks. A lot of times I would sequence them, record them in other programs, then pull the tracks into here when I wanted to overlay live, like live keyboard parts or vocals, something of that nature. But these days they've added a Midi capability in Ardour 3, which is pretty cool, which allows me to now sequence within the same program. So it's basically on my sequencer. It can be everything. I don't always use it. Sometimes I use LMMS depending on the kind of production I'm doing. But for the last couple of times that I've created songs or that I've worked on partial parts of songs, I've used this of what I have here and talk about it. So one of the cool things is, let me talk about how I built this up. Basically, I started off by taking a drum track off my Elisa's performance pad, just created a couple of bars of a little drum riff, captured it over here. I set the beats per minute to 104 to match my drum loop, and then I basically just looped that. There's a duplicate function. I right-clicked, said, hey, come in here to the audio, and let's see, duplicate. You can multi-duplicate. How many times do you want this duplicated? Have it out there several times. I said, okay, great. Now I've got this drum track, and it's at a particular beats per minute, so I can add some additional stuff. So I came in and added a Midi track, and this is the Midi track. I could grab this right now and drag it back and forth. I don't think I'll do that since I'm in the middle of playing. But in addition to being able to use it as a whole, edit it, cut it, copy it, if I drag it open like this, it becomes like a piano roll view, which is one of the design goals apparently of Ardour 3, is to make it to where you're not having to kind of switch back and forth between views. You can actually have this just by expanding this track, you're basically in a piano roll view. And it's kind of cool. So you can do things like change the how much of the keyboard you want to focus on, so that if you need to bounce in, you can grab individual notes. These controls up through here are used to switch between the different modes that you're in. I'm not going to get into those details, but that's basically, it's cool. So it's just like you'd expect. You can basically do all your manipulation. For this particular track, I wrote the bass line over on an external keyboard. So basically I played it over here, recorded this Midi track, quantized it, and then went back to play it back. And as I played it back, I ran it through a separate track, which I was then using for recording. Down here at the bottom, it was one of these, probably either this one or this might have been the original one here, called Synth. Set up the effects that I wanted to use. Let me switch over to the mixer. So you can basically monitor your effects as you're recording. So I use this CAF vintage delay. All of the plugins that CAF makes they're really awesome. So I recommend them. Once I had that, I was happy with that. I basically just recorded it with the effects right onto the track. Now, if I like the way that sounds, I maybe just modify it some. I can go back and I still have my original Midi performance. I can move some events around, some notes up and down, change it up however I want to, and play it back. It's very convenient to have that integrated right with my system. So basically, that's kind of the quick overview and how Midi is used now within Ardour 3. If you like this tutorial, it's not really a tutorial, if you like this kind of me rambling on about whatever it is that I'm thinking about, then why don't you go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and that would be like super cool, and it would make me happy, and it would probably make you happy now and in the future. So do it.